And welcome back. Our second conversation as we continue our build up to the municipal elections 2024 is with the mayoral candidate for the People's United Party in Punta Gorda town. In studio with us this morning is none other than Carlos Obia Galvez. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Good morning to you lovely people at what? Belize television.
Yes. How's it going?
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's a wonderful feeling. So let me say good morning to you all again, and good morning to my people from Punta Gorda, Boiti Benafi, PG. Good morning.
Benafi. You are no stranger to electoral politics. You have been the mayor of Punta Gorda town on previous occasions. Let's begin by talking, first of all, how you got involved in politics. Perhaps it stretches decades back, but what was your introduction to party politics?
Yeah, well, interestingly, and thanks for asking that question, Isani. Again, Carlos Galvez, better known as Obia. That's a common name. But how I engaged in politics was when I was coming to sixth form, Belize Technical College. I used to always ride with Honorable Mike Swat back then, and we used to have a lot of discussion about politics, and very young. I was about 16, 17 years old, and I said, but this thing interesting, and from PG to Belize to PG, every Friday he would go down, and I don't want to spend no money, so I take that opportunity to ride. And all these discussions are happening. You get this done, and how you get this done, and what happens in cabinet, and you have all this discussion and how you actually go about getting things done for Belize. And I said, what, interesting. And when I completed sixth form, I gone back to Honorable Michael Spot, and I said, what, I want a job. And he, back then, from the desk of Honorable Michael Spot, write you a note, and you take that to wherever institution, and you got your job. That was how easy it was. So, and after that, I built myself economically, started business, get into business, own and operated Galvez Taxi Tour Travel Service, auto rental, developed my own well-being, got enough money, and I said, what, I'm going into politics. And I begin to engage with a lot of people, a lot of youth group, lots of different organizations. I jump on different boards, and right there people begin to talk with you and say, why you don't run? Why you don't get involved? Why And that is exactly what happened this time around. It's a call from the people. And, ever since, I ran 6 conventions, and I won all 6 conventions for PUP. And that is how I got back, because people say, hey, you know what? A lot of these programs that you used to do, a lot of the Toledo games, the Easter Fest, all the basketball programs, football, semi-pro, football, semi-pro. We, as a matter of fact, my opponent used to be our goalkeeper for Toledo Ambassadors. Ben Burgess, Robert Musham, a lot of them guys, we managed to go on to almost winning. We came in second. Toledo Ambassador. So sports is one of my things. If that Jacks I want engage and get what team out there and play. So I love sports. And that is what built me too in my political career. Sports built me a lot. Right? Just by associating with people, sponsoring, So I'm happy to be back. I had a convention, 22nd of October. Four candidates ran. I managed to, again, come on top, thanks to the people, thanks to the voters. And it's a process where you reunite, you engage, you bring everybody together back to the table, the drawing board, and we move forward.
How do you move forward with a particular platform to get your message out there?
Well, you see, what we do is that we engage. Right now, I have engaged all the candidates that run with me, right? And everybody's on board. I think the thing with it is that you will find out that if you don't go back to these candidates that offer themselves, you will have animosity. So right now, the mayor, and I'm proud of the mayor, Charles Salgado. I mean, that past administration has done so much, but it's how they promote what they do, right? They haven't been talk about it. They haven't talked about it. They have bought machinery equipments, grader, roller, you know, and that's a platform that is set. Trying to ensure that the residents get what they rightfully deserve. Mm-hmm. So the basic service of grading your streets, right, cleaning your drain, picking up garbage, you know, they have managed to spend, I believe it's over $200,000 or $250,000 in just buying machine equipment. So that's a good start. I am going to add to that now. Mm-hmm. To ensure that, you know, that we advance, we elevate, you know. So he had bought some machinery equipment. We are going to do the same. And
let me stick up in there for a second. You've mentioned that you're proud of the achievements of the incumbent mayor in Punta Gorda town, but his time in office has been mired in controversy. It's a situation where his own councillors seem to have started a mutiny against him over transparency and the use of public funds.
Yeah, you see, again, a lot of these things should have been talked about, should have been ironed out. You know, knowing your role and responsibility as a councillor, mayor, everybody have a responsibility. Everybody should know their role and responsibility. I think countrywide, we have to ensure that at the local level, that everybody engaged in politics understand what is their role and responsibility. That's a major thing, you know, you're dealing with taxpayers' money. But I think if they had sit down, discussed properly, iron out these issues, a lot of it wouldn't have surfaced. You have to, it's a team, you know. This is not a one-man show, right? This is a team. A lot of these mayors, right, believe that you can operate independently. It's not a meeting. It's not a meeting. It's a we-thing.
So you are saying that a lot of the controversy and issues that took place was because of lack of communication.
Exactly, it's a lack of communication.
And I'm just putting this out there.
It's a lack of communication.
On my own ego.
Could partially be, but a lot of it is communication. If I don't tell you what I'm doing, and you see something, the last thing you want to do is that you go out in the public and you can't defend your council because you're a part of it. You are elected just like the mayor. So you have to dialogue, and it's majority. If you call a meeting and you have quorum is 4 out of 7. In Belize City, 7, right? If you have quorum and those people don't attend meeting, a resolution is passed. Obviously, that resolution has to come prior, right, within a given time frame. But if resolutions are passed, you have quorum, that's all.
Let's go back a bit here. You've been mayor of Punta Gorda town for several years, perhaps over a decade or more ago, right? From then to now, it would seem to me that the cry of the people remains the same. We need better infrastructure, right? We ran a series of interviews with the man in the street earlier before we commenced this part of our show. And they too are clamoring for the same thing. Now, one would say that these are basic infrastructure that we're asking for. We're not asking for build a skyscraper and call it a public building. We're asking for proper roads and drains. Why hasn't this been the case, considering the fact that you under a previous PUP administration had that opportunity to make that change? Successive UDP administrations came behind that, and we're back at a PUP administration and still.
Man, I love you. You put it right in perspective. Right in perspective. The bottom line is that you ought to be able to lobby. If you don't, one of the most important things is to own your own equipments. So the second thing, if you don't have your own equipments, right, then you lobby. My strength, what I bring to this table is experience. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. I know exactly how it works. So if you lobby, there's Ministry of Infrastructure, and right now, currently, I am leading the way for my team. We have meeting with Honorable Julius, and he's very helpful, and MIDH CEO Victor Espat. You got to be able to lobby with these institutions, these departments, these ministries. Right? Honorable Francis Fonseca, he's a close friend of mine, and right now we're helping a lot of students with tuition grants and school assistance. Sixth Form, JANS, UWI, UB, all these institutions. But you ought to be able to lobby. You come to Belmopan, you meet these ministers, they head their ministry, you sit with them, you talk with them, you tell them from the onset, what is your plan? 2.5 years ago, I began campaigning to run, and I sat with Honorable Francis Fonseca and a couple other ministers as we took office, and I tell them, listen, this is my plan. How can you help me? And this is what these ministers want to see, right? Economic development, the CEO, Osman Martinez. I've been talking to him already. We sit down and you plan. You put together a manifesto, yes, but you don't put things in a manifesto that is not achievable. You put things that are easy to access and get done. You don't decorate a manifesto and say you're going to do things that it's impossible. You come back later on and you have a report card 3 years after and you look, what have I accomplished? Fail.
But sadly, that is always the case, that the manifesto is a promise to a fool, right? Where the masses of Belizean voters feel completely disenchanted and disgruntled at the end of the 3-year to 5-year term, based on a manifesto where you're saying you're going to do X amount of things and fail to achieve it. One of those is the idea of joblessness in Punta Gorda. I think that's one of the most resounding issues right now if I'm listening to PG people, is that they've been promised jobs. While I understand that maybe the municipal government cannot create all the jobs to have everybody working, but facilitating employment opportunities.
Excellent. You've said it excellent. You facilitate. You coordinate, if you want to call it that way. You create the opportunities. Right now, there's a lot of projects in PG. You have a $2 million bridge that is going to be built, Joe Taylor Bridge. That is going to take on several employees. You have, right now, we're doing 6 major streets, paved, a hot mix street in PG, right? All these things are creating jobs, right? So you ought to be able to liaise with the contractor. Okay, M&M got the contractor to build Joe Taylor Bridge. It's over $2 million. Hey, you go to this man and say, listen to me, you got to hire my people. You're not bringing people for work. My people need job. The contract for streets, 6 major streets, Far West Street, and let me tell you, a lot of these things, and that's why I said the mayor and the council have not been promoting a lot of what they're doing. They were the one who started this project through central government. So they help with Joe Taylor Bridge. They facilitate, they coordinate, they make sure that they beg government, right? They beg government for to buy the machinery equipment through local government. And listen, we have an advantage, I don't want to be biased, but the minister of local government is from Toledo, Oscar Requena. How else better I want it, right? So he is your lobbying strength, right? He's a likable person, he's an approachable person, and this man can get the job done. So you lobby with him, right? Local government, the ministry is your parent organization. So if you want to float a bond, if you want to borrow, it has to be with support from local government. And that goes to central government, or it goes to whether the climate resilient climate change, you're the float on a bond, Those are avenues, but you need support of the local government. And the responsibility of the minister, you have a farm PG, how better else you want it?
So you're saying that if you were elected, you would be able to prioritize the needs of your municipality in local government because of your connection to central government.
Wonderful, excellent. That's your base. You central government. If we are talking about autonomy, central government limit your autonomy. I think that's one of the ideas I have in mind to take back to the Belize Mayors Association, right? How we could move independently, right? But having a central government of your same party is a big plus. But for me, it's sad. I hate to talk about it, but it's a fact that I don't see why you should, a government, people elect local authority, local government, because they choose that side. But you shouldn't limit. If they are the other party, right? But you should also be innovative. And I say, come back and I say, what I bring to the table is innovation, experience, sound leadership, transparency. I have done this before. I will ensure that my colleagues, it's a team. You have to get everybody on board, have everybody understand this is the agenda. And you hold their hand and walk and you achieve it together. It's not hard, it's not rocket science.
Can I venture off into a different direction just for a second here, right? You talk about autonomy and the fact that for far too long we've seen local government so heavily dependent on central government to get basic things done. I am looking at it from a philosophical point of view where I'm saying, look, it's a system that we've ingrained in our society where it's a culture of dependency, because the voter depends on the politician at the local level. The politician now becomes the municipal leader who now depends on central government. So in essence, we're perpetuating the same cycle of dependency. So how do we break away from that and say, we are autonomous, we do things independently on behalf of the people who voted for us?
Well, you got to find your own money, Sonny. You got to find your own money. And finding your own money is not hard. Finding your own money is being innovative. There are a lot of funding out there, like I said, on the climate change. You have your property tax, right? You, for example, I've been studying 2020. First of all, property tax must be paid within a 5-year time frame. If you don't pay a property tax within the 5-year time frame, then it's null and void. So your responsibility is to ensure that you collect the property tax within that 5-year period, right? So you use your property tax as the base, right, of borrowing money, right, to execute a bond, right, and that will allow you to carry out your infrastructural projects, whether the streets, sidewalk, drain. But I've been studying 2020 to current. You have at least like 2,273 properties, people owing, right? So that equivalent to probably like about maybe $1.5 million thereabout, right? So you use an agent, you collect that money, you set up your bond, and you pay a low interest rate. You set out your priorities. This is what I want to do with the money. I want to maybe pave 2 streets, maybe build a park, whatever you outline the project. And you, the donors, the salon, they won't give you that money, a lump sum, and say, Sita, carry out your project. It's earmarked for a park, it's earmarked for streets, drains. You will have to do and spend that money on that exact project that you estimated for. And then you pay back your low interest rate, what, 2%, 3%? It's not difficult. But you have to be innovative, right? And then whosoever you can reach out to. Another thing is you create sister relationship, right? Yeah. You have countries that are willing. You have like United States, Punta Gorda, Florida. When I was in there, I was almost at the point of completing that sister city. I'm going back to achieve that, right? And I'll take maybe 1 or 2 councillors, depends on the state, and you create opportunities. Then people have millions of dollars, right? And they're willing for help. So, through economic development, again, I have a good relationship with Osman Martinez. He's the CEO for economic development, Yes. I think Belize and Orange Walk have been able to create sister relationships outside.
I want to jump in really quickly here, simply because we have an allotted amount of time. You were able to touch on some of the challenges faced in the last term, as Isani mentioned, and you mentioned that one of the ways to address that is to communicate better. What I want to jump into really quickly is something that we also asked Mr. Polonio, and that has to do with transparency and accountability in local government. How do you plan to ensure that there is transparency and accountability if you are elected?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, and it's a pity. Our manifesto came out today, so I'll have you get back a manifesto today for PUPPG, right? In that, it has accountability and transparency, but not just talking. All right, yes, you have your meetings where you have all your councillors agreeing to whether the resolution, whether the bottom line is that you have them aware of what is happening. But even better, in my opinion, this is what 20th century, the time for make we digitize everything. You put your finance out there. People should be able to pay property tax. If you ask me, online, so many people live in America and they want to participate. But what? You have to wait till they come from the States to make them pay their money. So you digitize everything. And it will tell you, on that system, you give real time. It gives real time money, real time achievement. So it will tell you how much driver's license you push out for the day, how much tickets, violation tickets, how much money you make off of violation tickets for the day, your garbage collection, your everything, your valuation, your property tax, your trade license. If you digitize that, man, that is for the public to see, and you do what you are supposed to do. If you tell your quarterly meetings with the public, bring out your finances.
All right.
And public meeting is important.
Yes.
I've been able to do all these things in the past.
I want to quickly follow up on a question that Sabrina asked you regarding transparency and accountability. Your political opponents are running an ad right now that delves back into your past with charges of the very same thing, that there were instances perhaps where there wasn't clear accountability and transparency in the way you managed the Punta Gorda Town Council during your tenure. How do you respond to that, given this very same issue that we're asking for openness and clarity all the way through?
Yeah, well, there are two things, Isani. One, I think these people, they create mischief. So, but I won't allude to that and go down that road, propaganda. What I've learned then and now, it's different. So the experience, I'll charge it to a bit of experience, right? I've learned over that period of time to know to do things differently, to do things better. So more meetings, keeping your councillors closer with you, right? And making sound decisions together, right? You will always have those who might not agree, but if you, like I said, you have a quorum, you ensure that there is 4 out of 7, you make sure that everybody, they are present out of the 4 or 7, agree in consensus, sign whatever needs to be signed, document it, and it becomes a part of file, right? But I think a lot of it is to educate each and every individual. I think the government owes it. The individual running owes it to themselves. You ought to be familiar with what you're engaging with, right? So the onus is on those who are offering themselves, because you're supposed to know that town council act in the palm of your hands, back and front, right? And there are to be training, workshop, seminars. So I'll go back and say what I said, the experience I have now, and then I'll put that to work and ensure that every step of the way, my councillors, my colleagues, they are informed and they are with support of whatever idea we decide to put out.
We are down to the final 2 minutes, so I want to leave you with the final opportunity to give your final thoughts to the country of Belize. This is your camera over here, so if you'd like to speak to them directly, you can do so to have them know why they should vote for you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the opportunity, and to my residents of Punta Gorda Town, Carlos Galvez is no stranger to politics. If you want to think about development, if you want to think about progress, people first, progress always, stay upon track. So if we talk about going back to our Easter Fest, where a lot of people come to PG and enjoy, you want some of that, you want to vote for Carlos Galvez and his team. Basketball tournaments, if you want the exciting basketball tournaments with all the niceness and the good that comes with it, you will vote for Carlos Galvez and his team. If you're talking about infrastructure development, you have a $2 million bridge going in. You have 6 paved streets initially, we're starting off with. you will vote for Carlos Galvez and the PUP team. We have the support of a central government, and there is no room for failing. So you want development, you want progress, then you should vote for a PUP 7. I plead, I humble, I beg, I ask for the support. Come March 6, vote for Carlos Galvez and his entire slate, People's United Party. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for stopping by this morning, Carlos. We appreciated the conversation, and I'm hoping that you were able to get through to your people.
Thanks. Thanks for this audience. Thanks for the opportunity to Channel 5. And let's keep up the good work and call me back anytime. I'm more than willing to come back again, and we'll do it all over.
All right. All right. We are going to take another break. When we come back, the conversation is about the National Sustainable Tourism Master Plan. Stay with us. We'll be right back.